There's a new horror game that's been making the rounds for a week or so, called Back in 1995. It was created by an upstart Japanese development team who wanted to recreate the glory days of survival horror. You know the ones, where turning a corner could jarringly whip the camera around and change your tank controls, where you aim your gun down a hallway and hope you're hitting something instead of nothing at all. All of those were real reasons why critics and gamers alike disregarded classic survival horror games and clamored for innovation and change. These cries were heard by Capcom with Resident Evil 4.
So, after you take me back to my place, how about we do some, overtime?
Sorry.
Ha! Gay!
And thanks to them, we now have a stagnant horror genre that needs innovation and change. With Back in 1995, we've come full circle. It's a never-ending vicious cycle. Listen, I'm going to tell you a secret though. I love these games. Give me the bad camera angles, the terrible graphics, a combat system that was strung together on a lunch break. With a foreboding atmosphere, terrible monster design, and I'd say we're in business. I can't tell you how much I love this game and adore what the developer is trying to accomplish. You awake in an apartment building sometime after the world is over. The story is bare bones, with your only objective. The story is bare bones to begin with your only objective being to get to a radio tower. Kinda like Slender. A ton of people are going to be turned off by the graphics, but this game really does harken back to 1995, from aesthetic all the way down to cultural references. Isn't there supposed to be a transgender bathroom right here? The thing about it though is 1995 was a really good year for games. But I remember those days though where you weren't really worried about the graphics. It was more about the immersion. In fact, if a game broke your immersion, it was a bad thing, which is still true today, but it was really bad back then. You can tell the developers were in love with the genre. Certain scenes are meant to invoke previous champions of survival horror. The style tries to simulate Silent Hill 1, however, and it's close, although even Silent Hill 1, which looks like hot garbage, looks 10 times better than this. You have an option to enable a CRTV TV screen effect, but I'm not sure why you'd want to. It sucked back then and it sucks now. The only downside is that the combat is god-awful, which they all were, so it's not like I was surprised or anything. The claim being that your character doesn't have a military background. He's just a normal guy in an extreme situation. That's always worked for me and it works fine.
Doesn't know exactly what's going on, and then he's trying to find his brother, but since he's coming back from from war, he has to have military training, so that gives him a greater sense of combat than in other Silent Hill games, so that sort of plays into the refined combat system that we have in Silent Hill Homecoming.
Okay. How do I shoot? Maybe reload? No. Okay. Yeah. Okay, we're good. The enemies are ridiculously bad looking, which adds more to the horror. They've kind of got this, I didn't have a lot of money, but we're going to design something grotesque kind of feel. At the end of the day, though, the game's faults don't outweigh the good. It's an excellent little throwback to my childhood nostalgic days of playing the original Resident Evil, reminding me of a time when games were more than a AAA industry experience. I look forward to anything these guys make in the future, and if it sells well, hopefully we'll get a more polished entry into the genre, since these guys obviously get it. What the fuck am I looking at?